Welcome to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. I hope you're having a great day as we continue to celebrate all the wonderful people across the great state of Mississippi who are working in the trenches to make this such a great place to live, work, and play. Hey, listen, in my digital history book this morning, I ran across a note about Robert Frost, the great poet and writer. And Robert Frost died back in 1963, but he said something along the way that it shined some light on this particular statement about him that I really related to. And it said this: "We love the things we love for what they are." It's a simple statement, but think about it. We love the things we love for what they are. If there's a sort of a narrative that sort of connects so many of the people that I've talked to in almost 1,500 conversations since I started this show 5 years ago, it's this notion that they love what they do. They love their community. With all its challenges, they love their community. They love the people they work with. They love life, and they're going to get the most out of life. And I think that describes my next guest, my friend Billy Hewes, the mayor of Gulfport, who, as you know by now, has decided not to run for re-election. He's not going to get out of politics, maybe for good. Sometimes you can't get out for good, but we're going to just look forward, actually, and the things to do in the city. But before we go any further, let me welcome Billy back to the show. How you doing, Billy?
Ricky, not quite in countdown mode because we still have a lot to do, but we're blessed and coming off this rare snow week last week. That was pretty special.
It really was. I saw the pictures that you posted. Everyone had their pictures to post. Yeah. But, back in 1963, we experienced something like that. And I remember my dad literally teaching me how to build a snowman out in our front yard. And I remembered from back then, and as I taught my grandkids how to do it. But it's something special. I mean, listen, you wouldn't want to live in this stuff, but it sure is nice to experience it from time to time, isn't it?
It was really, like I said, it was there just long enough, but also long enough to remind us that now we don't want this on a full-time basis. But it was a nice, really just kind of a respite. It was, as somebody described around City Hall, as kind of refreshing in its own way. Yeah. But it was a for real snowstorm.
Yeah. Hey, so you heard the Robert Frost comment. We love the things we love for what they are. It's short and sweet, but it's also pretty powerful, isn't it?
And I think the older we get, the more we appreciate that kind of wisdom. And don't worry about the chatter so much that, things are what they are and you can make of it what you will. And, I talk a lot about choices. And, when we get up, when we set our day, every day there's two paths or more that you got to choose from. And those really have a way that it sets the tone, it sets your direction. And so accepting things as they are gives you some clarity.
Yeah, I agree completely, and I do agree that the older we get, the wiser we get, and as I say on the show all the time, we get more focused on appreciating the moment. We're not too worried about yesterday. We're certainly planning for tomorrow, but the one thing we can really be sure of is this moment. And what I've enjoyed about your last few days in office, I think you said you got about 10 more council meetings to go. But what I've admired is the way you've kind of poked fun at yourself a little bit, and you've enjoyed, doing those funny commercials that you've done. You were Dave Elliott. You were, you did one at a funeral home. You got Jim Cantori involved in another. My memory's not bringing them all back to me, but that was a lot of fun. I mean, what led to that?
Well, if I'm anything, I'm kind of goofy, and I've always had a different and dry sense of humor that kind of just runs in our family. And I think on the coast, it's part of how we tend to enjoy things too. But our jobs are serious enough, and if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't get much beyond getting to what's real and putting things in perspective. And so mimicry has always been something that we've always done, and just kind of playing with each other, whether it's my brothers and I, or through our fraternity, or just friends in general. And I've always kind of been one to find humor, even where it's inappropriate on some stuff. But what I found is, I talk about collaboration a lot, and the more you can involve your team in stuff, I think the more effective you are, and that collaboration is key. So during our state of the city, we've kind of given the requisite report on what's been happening, how we're doing. But I wanted to interject some fun and humor in that to try to, again, keep things balanced and in perspective. But at the end of it, we've always kind of morphed into something that was almost became a skit. And I started thinking, how am I going to top this for this last one? So we, kind of brought it and did a Saturday Night Live-esque type of weekend update, but made it the yearly update for Gulfport. And we had, again, some good players. You had Megan Gray, you had, Chet Landry, you had Jonathan Brannon, you had Kerry Duncan, all came in. So we did a newscast, but also did it with commercials interspersed. And so what's out there on my Facebook as part of it was a pretty long production. It was fun, the whole thing. But as you mentioned, throughout these vignettes, you'll see parts of our city team taking part in this fun deal. And it took a while to put it together. Jace Payne, Jason Heitzman, they're our creative side of things, and they put together a really neat production. And these commercials have, they've gotten thousands of views and shares because they're funny and people aren't used to seeing a politician poke fun at themselves. And so, and that's where you start. And so, Lamar Gray with his a lazy boy for a lazy bones. I wrote all the script and stuff, but everybody said, heck yeah, I'm in. And so Rob Stinson, it was all fun. And then the funeral.
Dave Ellie and his cigarette, his gum.
Yeah. He even cracked up about it. So so it was fun.
Hey, listen, one other thing, we're gonna show a quick video that I pulled down for the radio audience. We'll tell you what you're seeing. You're just gonna hear a lot of laughing, but I think this really, it just shows that you can never take yourself too seriously. Cue that up and of course the SuperTalk TV audience and Facebook and YouTube audience is going to be able to see the video, but we'll explain to you what you're looking at here in just a second.
Oh my God. That's great.
And we get to see it.
That's another part.
So tell people what the heck is going on.
I saw those things, out and about. It looked like a lot of fun, and we said, "What can we do for team building and for just a little fun for our city?"
Hey, but Billy, what are they called? What is that called? I've seen them before.
Some people call them bouncy balls or hamster balls. You can do a search. That's kind of where you find it. But we said, let's go ahead and buy a set of these and have a soccer tournament between our divisions, between our departments. For some bragging rights. And so we did last spring, a hamster ball, bouncer ball soccer tournament. And it was fun watching everybody go at each other. We had a little hamburger competition, a cooking competition. So it was a great day for our city team, for employees to come out, let their hair down, have a little bit of fun. And so that's an example of, how we just want to try to enjoy things because our folks work really hard and they deliver every day for our citizens. And sometimes a lot of times it's unappreciated, sometimes unknown, and often criticized. And day in, day out for what we have to deal with for a city of 73,000 people with 600 employees, we get a lot done. And we've got some great leaders on our what I call my Monday morning team and with our directors and managers. So it kind of trickles down, and we just want to let folks know they're appreciated, but try to enjoy themselves. And again, maybe understand that it's okay to laugh. It's a great medicine. It's okay to have a good time, but we have a very serious task to deliver on, and so it's about that balance.
One last thing, a big blow-up ball that we get inside of, you've seen it when you push up against somebody else, somebody's going to go rolling. And in that particular video, Billy went upside down and is laughing uncontrollably. Who was in the other one? I didn't see who was in the other one.
That was Wayne Miller. He's our CAO, and he's one of the biggest guys in the city. So I should have known that was going to be the outcome. I'm gonna give it a shot. Try it at least once.
But Billy, when you're the mayor of a city, you get a lot done. But when you leave office, there's a lot of goals, a lot of things you want to see done. There's a lot of opportunity for the city. When you look forward, you got to be excited about what's been happening in downtown, what's happening around the blue economy. But you've got other things that you're focused on as well. When you look forward, what do you think are some of the biggest opportunities for the city?
Gulfport's in a pretty good growth mode right now, and part of it is what we've done collectively. I keep using that word collaborative, but it's really true. And it's just not limited to Gulfport. We talked about the one coach deal, the mindset that I wanted to try to get in place. When I came out of the legislature, understanding that we're viewed as a region, not individual cities. And while we still want to make the most of our differences, we celebrate them as opposed to using them as points of opposition. And so I think we've matured, and quite frankly, I think that has lent us to broader growth, better opportunity. What benefits one benefits us all. And if we've got that attitude, we're gonna compete for it. That cooperation Bryant used to talk about. We're gonna compete for everything, but we got to celebrate when somebody gets a win. And Gulfport's had its share.
So let's do this. We'll pick up on the other side, and we'll talk about some real opportunities going forward with Mayor Billy Hewes when we come back. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. Mayor Billy Hewes is with us, and we've been doing just some recollecting and laughing a little bit in the first segment, but we're talking about opportunities for coastal Mississippi, and the point that you were making, or really for Gulfport, but really the point you were making forward to the break, was that the one coast concept is really important. You pushed that hard. I pushed it hard when I was part of the Sun Herald. But the reality is, the beautiful thing about coastal Mississippi is we're a collection of communities, each with their own special sense of place, and that's what makes this such a great place. It also creates challenges for us, and we've had big discussions about that as well. But at the end of the day, we're focused today on Gulfport, and as you go forward, whether you're talking about tree ordinances or elections or town center and transportation, the future of youth sports and Gulfport, you've got some real opportunities in front of us, don't we?
We really do. If you're doing your job, certainly in business, but in government too, you're doing not only a needs assessment, but just an analysis of where you are, but where gaps are, what you can fill, what you need to kind of build up on, and what you may be overlooking. And Mayor Schlegel recognized early on in his term that beautification is a big deal to our people, and the green things, the pretty things, and that doesn't always float to the top when it comes to serious budgeting, particularly for municipal components. But with tourism being our bread and butter, we got a lot of components on our economy, but tourism has been the steady one that we can always improve upon. But the tree ordinance question, it speaks to our character, I think. How do we differentiate ourselves? And when people come down here and drive along our beachfront and get to find out about our communities, the live oaks I'll focus on. I really believe those are landmark trees. They're historic. They, again, reflect our character. They are unique to, the Gulf of America and some of the lower eastern seaboard. But outside of that, you can't find them. And they're magnificent specimens. And we've got some loopholes in our tree ordinance that exist today that if you have a residential lot, you can cut any size tree down. You can do anything you want. And it kind of parallels what we're trying to do with the cars in yards. Yes, we want to respect your property rights, but as a property owner, you have a responsibility to your neighbors as well. And we have zoning ordinances and things that do make us unique and differentiate us from a lot of other communities, not to make it difficult, but to make it special. And quite frankly, I made the comment that say, if you're interested in clear cutting, well, we're probably not your community. We want to have neighborhoods with character that have interest. And, it may cost a little bit more on the front end, but quite frankly, if you do it right, the price point that you get in return is much more enhanced. And it makes us, your development, your neighborhood, your home, your community more desirable and attractive.
So we'll get down the list because we only have just a few minutes left together. What do you want to say about elections going forward?
The concern with elections is always complacency. The other thing is there are a lot of folks who want to throw grenades and have opinions about stuff, but you seldom see them step up. So we've got just till Friday to get engaged and qualify across this coast for municipal elections. And if you want to really make a difference or have a voice, to a greater degree, put your money where your mouth is, step up, qualify for office, and let's see how it goes, because we're all better when we're open to different and more ideas. So I'm appreciative of folks who do get involved in the political process outside of just, criticizing and not doing much more.
It's been proven that youth sports has a tremendous impact in a community, helping keep kids busy, all those things. It's also an economic driver when you think about what's happening at the complex up in north of I-10. Youth and the future of youth sports in Gulfport is really important to its future, really, isn't it?
So you would ask, a couple of things we look at going forward, and youth sports is critical. And we've matured and grown as a city and a community that we have a number of pocket organizations that do well. But what has been brought to my attention by Gulfport's athletic director is fewer and fewer of our youth are actually getting engaged in youth sports. So unless you've got a parent that is really pushing you, the schools used to be the traditional route. They still need to be that route. And so we're at a point of putting together a sports commission. I did a brief one last year dealing with an incident at a football game, but it brought to light again one of those areas that we can do better. And so I'm going to be in the process of establishing a sports commission for an advisory capacity with representation from every ward, from the school districts, and see what the next step in youth sports looks like in Gulfport and maybe across the coast, but we got to start in Gulfport. The other things, Ricky, our infrastructure is always something, the opportunities, the town center, that's probably one of the most exciting discussions that will hopefully augment some of the interest in downtown, but more really the waterfront. It will augment the blue economy component that we think that we've just scratched the surface on that for research and development opportunities in this immediate Central Coast area. Roads, good gosh, I-10 and 49, we got Landon Road going on, we got the Gulfport Commerce Corridor linking the Sportsplex to Canal Road and Highway 49 on the south side. We're still working on the build grant that has been a bit of a challenge, but it is definitely needed, linking the south side of Canal and 49 and going across the interstate in proximity to where the Sportsplex is. So if we can get all those to really come together, it's a long view, it's a long haul. No matter who's mayor in what city, will always be things to do. The point is that we keep pushing. And I told my folks, I may be a lame duck, but we're going to sprint to the finish. There is important work to do, and I want to have things, from my standpoint, in as good of condition for a handoff. So there's a seamless transition come end of June.
So what we didn't mention this, but the aquarium continues to be an important part of the overall model for Gulfport. You still see that as what it is, this incredible, important, dimension to the tourism offerings of Gulfport.
If our folks, if they'll look back and remember what it was like after Katrina, you don't miss what you never had. But we had that oceanarium, which was a great, hundreds of thousands of people every year, and we thought if we could, step it up and get partnered with the state, it could be even better. And Governor Bryant and Governor Reeves both saw the value in that in our local community as well, and certainly our city council. And we made a huge investment, but we knew it could be a catalyst for this region. And things don't happen any faster than you'd like them to, but we're starting to see investments and things happen, not only in immediate downtown, but again in the area. And now we're finding that just like Harbor Lights, that light show that extended tourism all the way through the end of the year. We have people planning their vacation. It is a tradition for them. And now when families come and our conventions come to town, they look to do something at the aquarium. It is really part of the whole package, which we had hoped it would be. And they're continuing to forge ahead. So we want to make sure that they're successful as they continue to grow with us.
Well, listen, you and I are going to get the opportunity to visit before you finally hang it up. But what's it? Looking back on your tenure as mayor, what sense of pride do you have about being in that role, et cetera?
I say often, if I did anything right, it was building a remarkable team, and that's not just cliche. That's the absolute truth. So just being able to serve, and I'm kind of wired that way anyway, to get involved and get engaged, and to have the privilege of serving at this level has been just remarkably rewarding. I say that it's if you step up and get engaged at any level, much less this one, there are a lot of demands, and there are a lot of folks you want to live up to their expectations, and hopefully you can meet most of them. Can't meet all things to all people all the time, but you do the best you can. And we've had a team that has helped execute whatever vision happens to be, and that is something that you adapt to. It changes. Things aren't always what you think they're going to be at the end from where you started, and but it has been a remarkable ride. And but I'm looking forward to a little bit of breather where I have some control over my agenda, my schedule, as opposed to this job telling me where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do.
Well, you've got insurance and real estate business to do, so I guess you're going to be spending more time there for sure.
Paula has told me I will be in her employ in a very profound way, and I'll try to sneak off and play a little music in the meantime.
Speaking of music, boy, it's been fun watching you do the music. We'll close out on that point, but the piece that WLOX did recently was really good. You guys have written, over 200 songs?
Yeah, we've only released about 50 of them. You can write a bunch of songs and most of them aren't worth, but it's so cathartic. If you play music, if you write, if you do anything creative, if you paint, there's just something that allows you to get away from the regular buzz and do something that is, again, fulfilling and rewarding. And we've come up with some pretty good stuff. It's like if you're playing sports with or against somebody that's really good, it elevates your game. And I've been just really privileged to be with some old friends. And now I can't call them new anymore because we've been together well over a decade. But one of the guys in the band, he and I have been playing since high school. And we get together, and it's neat seeing what everybody brings to these originals.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. You've been sharing music along the way with me, and it's been fun watching it. As a fellow drummer, it's fun watching you, stay young through your music. Billy Hewes, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
You bet. Hey, when we get back, Ricky Flint's going to join me from the Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund. We'll see you after this.